watching right now.
Well, right now, what I'm looking at, Hunter, is that tiebreaker. If we're able to get it there, I really do think it could go either way. We know Oppenheimer are typically an M1 favored team. That's why they've picked the unknown. It's the pseudo M1. And you basically just play M1 in your chases. They love that stuff, right? They love taking hit takes. They love playing really altruistic. And they love 3-splitting for a good chase. And that's exactly what we're probably going to see from their Survivor side after Ray is done with his killer performance. But Doctor will show echoes of that too if we are able to get there. But it will come down to how this set goes, because unfortunately for Oppenheimer, I think Ghoul might be a bit of a challenge. They have been able to play it very consistently throughout the season, but their performances have been very middling to average on occasion. It will be interesting to see if they're able to put on a really good performance, unlike their previous couple. Regardless, Ray is starting this set off pretty well. That is a relatively early tag, and if he's able to connect this UVX, which he wasn't, he would be able to potentially get a quick down, although it would be in his corrupted gens, and I'm not too sure if he has any pain resistance nearby. The progress, a bit 50-50 Hunter. I was expecting a little bit more at this state of the game. I guess the rotations came a bit later than expected, but all in all, pretty good start for both sides.
Yeah, a very good start for the killer, I would say, considering that you don't usually see it down until like at least 2 generators do pop in your traditional unknown sets on the Wrecker's Yard. But regardless, that's going to be the first stage of the trial there. Just hooking over at 9 now, taking ground back over to the bottom side of the map here. Ray in a power position. If we do look at the add-ons, we got Corrupt Intervention, Wretched Fate, Eruption, and Pain Resonance. So, pretty stock standard stuff. You know, you do see Wretched Fate being swapped out every now and again, and I do think it's a little bit of a bizarre pick, but who am I to judge, regardless. Ray's going to now go over to where that unhook had just happened moments ago, as we do see the rotation leading over into deep 12. We're going to go for a little pot shot there, but it's not going to quite connect, unfortunately. And we've lost sight of them just ever so slightly, but managed to pick up the tracks back again once more with the scratch marks leading over into his filler pallet here. It is going to be our tunnel out Zua, who is just trying to work with the opposite side of pallet possession. Once reaching the pallet again, is going to be greeting it. Very nice work. That's going to be the first generator of the trial proccing in the background, and we do have about 75% on one generator over on Hurricane's gen, and then we do have Hanley just working, starting one from scratch at 25. We did see Mio trying to play in twos just there, maybe potentially taking a hit or going for a save, but not quite working out. It's going to be the first pain resonance of the game, hitting Hurricane's gen over at that bot side. So yeah, I think in all honesty, Chief, the killer in a pretty dominant position as it currently stands.
Oh, 100% Hunter. I think being able to save that pain res for your first hook and them not being able to pop 2 gens was pretty detrimental. Now, obviously, it did look like from the HUD that they were triple splitting. I'm not too sure if that was actually the case. Considering their progress right now is a little lacking, we saw Hanley rotate to a brand new gen in the after he got the unhook, which perplexed me because, like I said, I thought they were triple splitting, right? Which means they definitely didn't have anywhere near as much progress as I was personally hoping to see for that first down, and especially with that second having the pain restored, so problematic. And I think a bit of a miscommunication just came out there, Hunter, because we were definitely set up for an FTP, but we didn't even attempt it. So now Zua definitely has to just last in this chase, has access to Shaq to do that. 2 gens have popped in the background, so I believe that's all of our progress for our Deathhook Survivor right now. If he's not able to last, especially after Shaq, we are in a position for a 4K1. Instead, we're going to not even greed the pallet with the hit. We're going to drop it right on after. I think we might have once again had a slight miscommunication with Mio, not the first time after that FTP, which is a little bit concerning for our survivors, but all in all, it has at least helped us. Last Duo has been able to avoid a tag and getting down. They've made it all the way to another strong filler 8. I think they've just sent it all the way 6 as well. We have Hurricane here as well to assist. That's the Beamer Survivor. And we have a God Filler here as well. We can take the hit or play for the pallet save. Take your pick at this point. But I mean, it will be very interesting to see where our gens are being worked, because this was most likely active with a survivor here. I would assume Mio is probably rotated to Han Lee, potentially to get reset and finish that gen. But Hunter, I mean, look, we're kind of trapped. We have been able to, like, have a survivor here for the hit. We're gonna try to greed for the hit, get the UVX instead. I mean, things are slowly slipping out of Ray's grasp, slowly but surely, as this teleport comes through. I was going to say that could have been a quick down, but no, we are stuck on another God pallet.
Yeah, I mean, after them just playing intos very well, it's just really put Ray on the back foot here. I mean, he's still trying really hard for this tunnel out onto Zua, and I don't think it's quite working out in his favor as we do pre-drop this pallet over into 7. We're just going to die as far away from those generators as humanly possible at the top side, all the way in the deep pocket of what once was known as 6. But Again, trying to get that Crackers blind there, but unfortunately not quite connecting. We're going to be going down via the UVX, and that it will be Zua out of the game. That's going to be all gens pop. So all of a sudden, there was just so much adequate gen pressure in the background for those chases, Chief. I mean, it's quite extraordinary from the survivors to really come back from that, because Ray was on such a dominant position at the very beginning of the game, and now really trying to look for that last remaining stage. I think he had to opt to play for his freshers once he didn't get that tunnel out as quickly as he would have liked. Regardless, we have found Han Lee here over at this gate over towards 11 with the broken bus, and we have to be really careful if we are able to get all survivors out of the trial here. We do have 2 healthy in the background, so there's no need for a reset of any sort. We do see someone in the corner of our eye greeting for the gate over at 11. No, that is not the play. Mio just playing ultra aggressive there. We do get rid of the infection rate from the side of Han Lee, and he's rotated back to probably maybe 12 to try and get to that gate all the way down over at 7. Well, no, sorry, 4 rather. We do see him come in for a protection hit, and I do say this is going to be all of them out, as we did see the gate pop just in the distance there. We do have another hit coming in from Hurricane. Nobody infected with UVX, so pre-drop the pallet to create even more distance if needed. It wasn't really needed, but it is there if we, you know, on the side of our survivors here. So everything looking up in Mo's favor. He is going to be spawning in this match with Corrupt Intervention, Pain Resonance, Brutal Strength, and Ruin. Just choosing to leave Eruption out the door. He doesn't really want to bother playing around those generators too much. He's gone for something a little bit more passive. Regardless, we are going to be seeing our survivor spawn on the opposite side of the map over at that top side. We do have this nice little hill just overlooking everything, and we're really trying to see that crossover, and we do manage to see Benny, who's just vaulted into the killer, running around this jungle gym here, playing very nicely. Is opted not to use the pallet, does want to use the one over at 9, anticipates that we're going to be pulling up that UVX, but not quite reading that correctly. Is going to be forced all the way down into 11. We're going to be pre-dropping this rock filler, and again, playing around it. We can potentially get a very quick chase here, like we had seen last game, off to a really good start. We do see in the background Yelly on that totem. That's 3, 2, 1. That it is Ruin gone out of the trial very nice and early for our survivors to be playing around. Benny doing absolutely incredible work to be able to break away all the way into 12. Is still infected with that UVX though, and with one clean hit from Mo, that could spell trouble for him, but regardless, has just stayed at that car there. Has still extended the chase even longer and is now going all the way into 2. And this is usually traditionally what you see more so with the unknown gameplay, as opposed to what you saw last set. So I mean, unfortunately, he does not make this pallet, though. And if we do have Yelly just ready for a pallet save, this could be problems for our killer. We've exited the locker. 3, 2, 1, slapping that in the back of his face. No, he was not on the pallet. No, and you hate to see it if you're really rooting for our survivors here. That's going to be the first Pain Resonance of the trial, hitting Cahill's gen. Ray and Cahill still working those gens far away from this hook as humanly possible. And we're not in the trial anymore, so, you know, when he tries to apply pressure to these bot side gens, if he does choose to do so, he does have to go out of his way to kick them, as to oppose of if he were in the trial, he wouldn't have to do that. But he's decided to stay a little bit more of the mid ground and kind of cover Shaq, really anticipating this fast pull here. And Yelly is ever so close to it. He's just hiding over at deep 12 ready and waiting for when the time is right.
Yeah, Hunter. Now, I want to point out, we talked about Ruin just a second ago and how it means he's going to have to kick these gens, but unfortunately with his build, he will just be dry kicking them. He doesn't have access to Eruption or any other sort of gen regression now that Ruin is gone, besides the Pain Res, and I think it's a very weird choice to bring Brutal Strength when you have access to Game Cartridge, which we do have on the builds as well, which is effectively brutal every time you teleport for 20 whole seconds. It's a very strong add-on. It's the most expected add-on on the Unknown. Speaking of things that the Unknown has, we have access to teleports. We completely caught Benny off guard, but Yelly's head-on has brought Benny all the distance he needed to make it to Shaq. That was very well played team synergy-wise there. Lovely stuff, but yeah, very, very interesting if we are to be having longer chases on the side of our survivors right now, because the regression we have is very, very lacking. We're trying to once again pull up our UVX and cancel it to get a cheeky little swing as the survivors try to dodge, but it hasn't worked out this time. Yelly has been able to make the pallet and get the stun off of that, and we will be able to chain it into this lovely fill of 5, although we do take this UVX infection, so we will be stuck in 50s and another layer on top of that of being sniped. It could get very scary on this pallet, because right now oh my god, we've actually jiggied all the way to the bus. And we do not be able to make anything else. We have the 2 gym dropped. Unfortunately, our UVX tag will be the end of us. We get the Beamer save. Oh my word. You know what? The chases, I will say, obviously, haven't been as good as what we had seen from the majority of that game previously for Ray's killer performance so far, but everyone is playing to protect each other. We've had a beamer save. We had a pallet save attempt that was just barely missed because of us not being on the pallet. Also, we have a jungle 9. Our RNG has been incredible for our survivors. We're going to win a vault on the long window and be able to make it all the way back to the pallet if we're not cut off from the inside. In fact, we're just going to be able to send it all the way to 8. We have Benny there in the mid-map to play Protect the President with us as well. Unfortunately, moving to 8, we do see that the gen is such high progress. Yelly will have to try and survive. Benny is cleansing this teleport. I believe Cahill is just on the gen right next to us. All the survivors are at 9. We are playing so aggressively right now, Hunter, but I mean, it's exactly what we need to do. We're going to try and force a locker to prevent the down, but we're able to snipe Yelly anyways. That's him on the ground. Benny pulled out of the locker. This is now problematic. We thought we would be able to buy all that distance by forcing there for Yelly to make it out of the way, but Cahill clutches up in time with the FTP to get him off the ground. That gives him access back to Shaq. But now we need to be careful for 2 survivors, 2 injured fresh hooks as we vault into Mo, finally conceding that fresh hook, and unfortunately with Benny being hooked as well after that locker grab, that is the win for Mo. It was so close, although this is only the win con achieved at 2 generators remaining. It really was pretty damn difficult for Mo to get here so far, and I dare say if they had continued the level of performance they're putting on up until this very moment, they might have been able to do it.
Maybe, just maybe. You'd really have to watch the match as to oppose of looking just at the results page on Discord. But yeah, it's still grounds for him to be able to pull mid stages to high stage game. He's going to be taking this nice tag onto Ray and following up that chase as to oppose going back to his hook. And that's going to be a nasty UVX ping. Oh, that's the ping, yeah, coming in. So that's going to be another pain resonance onto our generators too to slow down the progression even more. So Benny just trying to work that gen over in the distance is our only death hook at this point in time. Mo now covering all the way over at 3, does manage to spot out. I do believe that is, I can't even tell who that is. Is that actually Benny? It is. He's in chases, tentacles and whatnot. It was a little bit of a weird Discord stream on my end, but Benny now following up that chase here is trying to make just as much distance as he possibly can all the way down to the bot side, die nice and far away. Everybody in the trial still injured, and we do have to manage to get Ray off the hook here. So do you go for the reset or do you go for the gen pressure? And as we take that UVX tag onto Benny, he's running all the way down to deep 6. Mo following up. We are going to be trying to break away line of sight, really trying to get use of that AoE, but not quite working out in our favor as we do take the chase over towards this really weird new tile, which is like kind of like the double L wall if you do. But playing very nicely on the side of Benny here to be able to extend this long, but has ran into the tires and will be going down just moments after. He's anticipating a head-on, and we've pulled Yelly out. Oh, that would have been incredible if that paid off, but this will be the second stage onto Yelly. That will be the death onto Benny, and all of a sudden we are looking at a 4K1 potentially, Chief.
Yeah, and until that gen popped at 11, obviously we knew it was very close to popping, but I'm sure Mo was thinking he possibly could have achieved that 4K too. The survivors after achieving the win con on the side of Mo have been pretty flustered. They've kind of been everywhere, you know. We had to give up a lot of ground protecting our stages. Unfortunately, we're not even going to pop our final gen. Ray's going to be on the ground before we're able to, and that kick will mean it starts progressing as we take our hook with a 2v1. Isn't coming out just yet, fortunately for our survivors, but I mean, hey, unless we're able to wrap this gen very shortly, until like with it regressing, things could get a little bit more problematic. We have this gen at 4. We can see Shaq is also a part of our little 3 gen, but I'm not too sure where that final gen is. It might be, oh, it's all the way at 1. Okay, so the gens aren't that holdable, at least, if we do have to slow the game down for our survivors, which is a boon for them, but you're all right, Hunter. I think the 4K1 is still very likely, especially with Yelly playing so aggressive for the gen now, being caught out and having to play towards a Z-War Edge 2, with the only other resource being a gym on the other side of the map at this point. That will be basically a 4K1 secured. We know where Cahill is. He's going to maybe be able to get the unhook. In fact, we're not even going to attempt it. We're not willing to trade. It's just going to be Cahill playing out his final chase of the game to secure the 4K1.
Yeah, definitely. Absolute dominance from Mo to be able to pull a 4K1 on the set. That wasn't even Nameless King pick, so you can only really judge or judge based off of this game. What?
All right, Mo. He needed something for the highlight reel, apparently, and that's one that we'll be seeing later, I'm sure. Get it on the Twitter.
Oh, I just stopped him in sentence and I've seen the EVX go up in the air and it's straight back down where he needed it. Oh my god, just to close things off. Yeah, like I was saying, on that note, if you see how he played this game, imagine what he's going to do in the set that they had picked, which is Ghoul. But, I mean, yeah, wow. It's still, to pull a 4K1 on a map like this, with a killer like this, is just... It just shouldn't be happening, but Mo made it happen, I guess.
Have to do, and I'm not even kidding, is stand still, do nothing, press your spacebar, and you live. Lovely stuff now. But it does mean the killer is a lot weaker, and with the killer being a lot weaker, the balancing having not changed, the survivors already being in a pretty strong spot, dare I say, the 4Ks we've been seeing on this killer may just be coming to an end, but Mo has already found himself with an incredible start, getting a very early tag onto Ray. He's obviously not going to commit that. It's typical Ghoul gameplay. We're going to go get our infections up as quickly as possible. We found another one immediately, Hunter, as well. This is a flying start. How do you think this is going to go, though? Are we expecting a 4K? We talked that Mo might be able to do it still, but will he actually manage to pull it off?
I think he'll still 4K. If there's one person that knows, it's Mo. So regardless, we are going to be following up this chase onto Yell here over at the shack. So pre-dropping this pallet, trying to create as much distance all the way down to the bot side over at 6. And Mo just wants none of it. He's going to go for his tags like you had mentioned earlier. He's probably going to still... facilitating this play style, just trying to get, the infection rate up and whatnot, as we do spot out Benny here working over at 7. We didn't even go for the gen, we just went straight to the corner of 7 trying to see that tunnel, that stealthing survivor, and we have caught him out. He is running all the way down into 8, where he's just ran into a whole lot of car tires, and he's just going to be going down before he reaches the pallet. This will spell the first stage of the game. So, Cahill's still over at that 7 generator trying to play extra greedy for it, but Mo's going to put a hook right on over at 8. I do believe that was not pain res, so yeah, just opted to go for a little bit more positioning as opposed to using his perks. And as we do take an eruption kick onto the generator, we are going to be traversing back over to 5, where, we do... Ruin is gone out of the trial now, so, plus for our survivors to definitely be working those gens, it's not as detrimental when they get pushed off. It does force Mode to go over to the generators and do kick them, but again, it is the Ghoul. Does have high traversability. Mo, and now covering ground all the way over at 9, does not see where our tunnel out had gone. We do spot Cahill, though, who's pre-dropping this pallet over at this 9 tile, and we've spotted our tunnel out Benny, who's going to be getting a Kagune tag and forced all the way down into the 12 side, and it's almost problems for our survivors here, Chief.
No, I think it's already problems, Unfortunately, we weren't able to pop a gen for that first chase, which really does set the momentum for this game. Benny has unfortunately also vaulted directly into the embrace of Mo, losing a 50 without even playing it. That's mighty unfortunate for the game state. Benny will be in his second hook before we've even gotten a gen done. Obviously, our Ruin is gone, but Eruption has just procced on a few gens, and finally, we're going to use that pain res that we saved for our first hook. We didn't anticipate that either. Someone doing the Claude Yelly on 5 having screamed. Now we're all too aware where he is. Ray is still injured as well. Things can get really dicey in a Ghoul set quite quickly. Obviously, you have a lot of potential in Chase because resources are few and far between on this map, especially on the top side, and we saw how dangerous that can be. As soon as we lost that 50 at 12, even if we had managed to recover from this pallet, we weren't making much else after it, especially if Mo had just decided to zone us. This is why, honestly, this killer has proven to be really difficult, especially, like you said, with Ruin up, because you can kind of ping-pong back and forth, deplete resources, get your free tags, force resets. It makes your survivors slow down so much, and you don't need to slow down as the killer. You can keep up the momentum and have your tempo just whir on ahead the entire time because of your mobility and your ease to injure. And look what it's resulted in. We're having Benny potentially dying on hook before a single generator is popped. Now, obviously, that won't happen. Cahill is here to trade. We're going to get that trade off, and Yelly is going to pop that gen. So finally, a gen is done, but we have traded on top of a pain res, and because we have so many gens remaining and probably not as much pressure as we would like, Most is going to take the pain res and follow up on the tunnel out after. And once again, it's not like he's going to get very far, is he, Hunter?
Not at all, because when you take into account that this is a killer that has high traversability, like I had mentioned before, he's just going to go straight back onto his tunnel out, and it's as if we never had any distance at all. Look at this. We're already at the shack, and we downed Benny just before the window. He vaulted it, but he didn't make it. No, that is problems, team. We do get the first generator in the background and a second generator as a result of this. Worst comes to worst, it is 4K3. I don't really see them popping any other generators here. They really need to be able to get back on their game and stealth out for that reset. We do see just Ray caught out in the middle of everything while the reset happening over at 1. Mo's trying to sniff it out, and he's ever so close. He's so close. I don't think he's going to check the corner of 1. He's going to go back on Gen Patrol to see if there's any more pressure on the map, which we know that there's not. Regardless, there's going to be 2 healthy survivors in the trial. Mo picking up on that reset now, and he was looking for it just moments ago and has found it. Yeah, he knew it was over at that top side, and now we're going to be taking that tag onto Yelly very nice and early, who's forced to drop this filler pallet here over at 1. This pallet gym brother trying to get a nasty swing through that pallet there, but not quite working out in our favor. Following up here over at 2, we do pre-drop this car pallet and playing around the tires, and I do think that is our life player vaulting around that nicely. So again, just a little bit struggle town trying to get this down, and if we're not careful when we spiral out of control, there's going to be another generator popped in the background, and we've picked up onto that on the side of Mo. We're going all the way down to 6, where pistons are a pumping, and Ray has been forced all the way down into 6. We're going to be vaulting over, but we don't know about the just stand still and vault back into the pallet check, and we're going to be going down before we make anything else. And this is going to be potentially another pain res. Wait, hang on a second. Okay, our pain resonance RNG is quite questionable. So it won't be another pain resonance, but we are going to be interrupting the most highly progressed generator on the map at the moment, Chief.
Yeah, unfortunately for Mo, our pain reses are in Narnia, but like you said, it doesn't really matter. The gen that it would have hit was the gen right next to us, and I think we would much rather kick it, let it regress, and have eruption on it than let it be pain res. The gen that we saw, I believe it was Yelly on, is only at 25%. I don't know where it is. It might be the one at 2 that we're heading to, considering he's no longer on it. Yeah, it is. Yelly's gonna have to try and stealth away with him being injured. I think Mo is already aware. Yeah, we're gonna try and stand off here on this pallet. We're not even actually going to. Never mind. We're just gonna force a drop and play around it now with the extra little bit of ping, obviously this being Thailand to Hong Kong. So our survivors are on about 70 ping, meaning that the weaker, I call them weaker, they're still got pallets technically, but the weakest fillers like that are playable around. Yelly didn't even try to play around it. He didn't make it back to tile 1. Unfortunately, that is him on the ground. Eruption on both of our remaining survivors. So we're going to take this chase right back onto Cahill immediately. He's going to be stuck here 7 for a little while. We're going to try and get a Kagune tag, but he's done just enough to avoid it. Unfortunately, forcing himself to the short side of the filler where movement can get it done. Mo gets the tag in the end. He now will have to play into the map. I'm sure Ray in the background has rotated for that pickup, but it will not come quick enough, I dare say. We really can't afford to have this down come in before we get the pickup, and we're now playing 50s on the eye loop because you just can't afford to go back around. The Mo power on Ghoul, sorry, the Ghoul power in the hands of Mo just means that it's not safe like it should be. It's an eye filler that can be played around.
I like the Mo power better, I'll be completely honest with you, Chief. But regardless, we have found the last survivor in the trial. This will be Ray going down. Not much you can do here, just playing the 50s and ultimately forced over to the long side of the loop and just trying to 360. We're just playing with the killer at this point, and now we'll be going down ultimately for the 4K3, which is what we anticipated. So, 4K4 on the goal. Well, you thought, you know, maybe we wouldn't see as many 4Ks, or maybe that's still true. Maybe it's just an off day for Oppenheimer, or maybe it's just Mo. Who knows? I definitely don't know. But Chief, can you tell us who knows?
Mo knows, Hunter.
Mo
knows. God, Hunter, I just want to point out, speaking of Mo knows, we had throwbacks to the very early days of Mo in the OCE scene in this game. He just found a reset edge map with nothing to go on. Like, for those who aren't aware, I'm going to explain it for why I'm talking about all of this. When Mo first entered the scene in OCE, his map different to what we saw from our other survivors on Oppenheimer, and I dare say this is probably not where you want to be spawning if you are on the map. But if they are able to get this stealth going well, get down the map before Ray is able to find somebody, although he has just found someone immediately, so Castle Curse there, we will be off to a strong start.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, just touching up on spawning on the top side of that, definitely not what you want. I know that from definitely experience, and well as everybody else in the audience, but we're going to be taking that tag onto Han Lee here, who's going to be running around that one tile, but Ray's just going to leave it as we saw last match, and I'm pretty sure all Universal Ghoul matches, this is just textbook gameplay. You get one tag, you go next to the other guy because you got 3 dashes in hand. So that being said, we are going to be playing around this T and L war here, but losing the scratch marks just a little bit. Ultimately catching out Hurricane in the corner as we are forced over into Shaq. I thought we were going to vault the L there, but no, we just opt to use the distance, go all the way down into Shaq. So we are going to be interrupting 7, which forces our survivor to rotate all the way into 8, and there is somebody over at this middle side, which is Mio, just playing around the pallet very nicely, pre-dropping that, trying to create the distance, but ultimately getting mind gamed there and has sacrificed a lot of it. Now has a whole lot of nothing to be working with. Does have the crane behind them, but I don't even think this is where you really want to be taking chases. We do eat the first tag. We are going to go more central and use that eye loop, but evading, no, we didn't evade anything actually. We did get tagged, and that will be us in the mending state on the side of Mio, and he's just getting the speed boost all the way down into main. Ray doesn't want any of it though. He's trying to catch somebody out in a more favorable position to him. We are going to be opting to greet this pallet on the side of Hanli, pre-dropping it. I thought we were going to go die on it and play for the pallet saves of some sort for a moment, for just momentarily, but that has forced him all the way down into 3 here, where there is absolute bugger all. There's this filler pallet here, but it doesn't really do too much. It is very short loop. It is very awkward loop to be running around, and ultimately anticipating the vault on the side of Ray. Wait, actually kind of mind gaming ourselves. I think you just kind of have to M1 down this, just full brute force it. Don't mind game yourself, because the moment you do, it's problems. But unfortunately, we fell for it on the side of Hanli. He's going to be going down for the first stage of the game. Ruin's still in effect, so maybe you'll see the survivors play through it this time, Chief.
Yeah, I honestly, with that start, I think playing through Ruin is going to be to our favor. We need to pop 3 gens at the end of the day, and you can definitely do that in the 4v1, and when you can kind of just sit gens for long chases like we saw this time, I think having Ruin up isn't going to be that big of a problem. Speaking of gens, that is the first one popping off the trail, although it isn't for nothing. We did get a tag onto Zua, so maybe because of that, with the fear of a commit coming out, there isn't actually going to be, Ray isn't even showing that. So I think we might just let Hanli sit for a little bit longer. You know what? Why do I talk, Hunter? Why do I talk? We've not decided to let him sit, but he does have the SB. We're going to hit his BT. He'll make it all the way to Shaq, and I think Ray is recognizing that instead of our tunnel, to achieve this 4k4 win con, we definitely need our pain reses and some quick snowball down. So we're going to abandon Hanli and head over to 1 tile, where Hurricane is going to take chase. We have Matchsticks here to work around. He's already won 150. Will he win the next? He does indeed. Ray needs to not let what happened on that pallet happen again. We can't lose too many 50s in a row. It will spell probably the end of this match, I'm sure. Obviously, Hanli's gen is at about 30%, but I wouldn't be too surprised if there's another gen at about 60 or 70%, and Ray is fearful of that as well. So he's gone all the way to 6. He's caught out Mio on that gen that was 30. We're going to greet the Shaq pallet. This is probably life to make it the whole way back around. There's not much Ray can do now without his bounce to cut off, though. He will go for something cheeky, unfortunately missing it back into Shaq. He'll cancel, admitting defeat on that, and once again, another chase that we've had to leave with the win con in mind.
It's still in a really weird state. Ruin's still up, right? And everybody in the trial is injured. So, you know, if he gets sluggy with it, could be potential problems here. We do see Zua playing around the side you definitely don't want to be playing the loop on, but has won the 50 there. And has pre-dropped the pallet and made over it again. So we're just kind of zoned off into the corner. Going to be trying to make down to 7 as fast as possible, because we want our survivors in the background on that generator as soon as possible. Going to be going down here. No eruption to our Veil, as we don't have access to it just yet and have not kicked any generators. We're going to be going over to 6 to try and interrupt it as soon as we can. Maybe we're going for a reset as well, so there's no pressure on the map here. And we're going to be slugging Mio too. And potentially, no, actually, no, we won't slug Mio, because I think we'll go for a pain resonance hook here, as we do take the pick momentarily. Yeah, he knows that the reset had happened, paying attention to the avatars on the bottom left. If we didn't go for the reset, I would have said he would have slugged and probably gone on Gen Patrol just a little bit longer to try and get the pressure up and just kind of secure that 4k4. However, after hooking Mio, we are going to be going over to 2 here, where it is going to be regressing. The scratch marks leading all the way into 12. This will be, I think, if my eyesight serves me, this will be Hurricane at this filler pallet here over at corner 11. It is going to be getting a Kagune tag, unfortunately, but it's trying to just use the distance to run all the way and haul us all the way down into 2. We want nothing of the sort on the side of Ray. We are going to be playing around this another awkward filler pallet, and he just, yeah, again, can't afford to give away too many 50s on this pallet, but we're not even throwing it from Zua, just playing around it very nicely, but we've walked through it, and this is what I was talking about a little bit ago with this filler. Just walk it down. Just power through it, and you'll get the down. There you go. Zua on the floor is rendered obsolete at this point in time. We do see Hurricane taking chase over to 2 again, but we need this down quickly, because we need to be going down to the bottom side, where we anticipate that Hanli and Mira will be slamming out those generators. They probably won't even bother going for Zua, and yeah, look at that progression. It's about 60% all the way over at 6. Hanli is rotating just to play it a little bit safe, and I do like that idea, but Ray, again, just getting lost in the sauce. Hurricane, definitely the MVP right now, is able to last this long whilst injured. We are going to be closing in the distance there, but we do still have access to this car pallet. And as we rotate around the Sin car, the pallet will be going down to 3, 2, 1. Once upon a time, Kidnap Tech coming in, and there it is! What we were talking about, standstill, vault in, and you are safe. And Hurricane is just elected to die all the way into 11. We'll play this filler pallet just before happening, and that will be our win con gone. We can still tie the set, but we can't win it.
Yeah, Hunter, I mean, that is tragic. That down could have been crucial, although there was no eruption to stop that gen. A Painter is close by, could have maybe done it. Like you said, stand still and do nothing tech beats all, and that is definitely unfortunate for Ray. I'm not even too sure if he would have anticipated that change because, you know, it is kind of really unintuitive on the side of the killer. Like, it doesn't really make sense that the counterplay to the killer using his power is to do nothing. But that's what it is now. Unlucky for Ray. It did, unfortunately, cost him the win. The Kidnap Tech was not worth it. I think we're going to try and go for it again. We might get punished once more, but no, we're going to cancel our power and just try to play 50s on this pallet. Ray losing yet another 50. This has been the story of 50s, honestly, finally winning one once more. But yeah, I do think a lot of 50s being won and lost was the difference in this match because getting that down onto Mio at Shack was game-changing. Obviously, Mio, I think, made a pretty big mistake not playing it safe there. He had access to the Shack pallet, he had access to the window vault, and he chose neither. He just stood in the middle of Shack and went down as he tried to head out the door. That really did give Ray the potential to get back into it, like you said, with Ruin still ticking away at the gens that we had to rotate off because of 2 survivors being on the ground. It looked like Ray was in the pole position to actually take the win, which is insane considering the result needed. But at this point, obviously, the tie is the only thing possible with 3 stages and 3 fresh. No Ruin on the cards. I think it is all said and done. We need to pop one more generator, and we have very split gens to just get one out of the way. And, you know, even if we give up the entire rest of the game, get 4K2 just for the win con, that is more than enough at this point. You know, I wouldn't be too disappointed to see Nameless Kings go for that sort of playstyle because, as we can see, a lot of them are still injured. Zua being the only reset survivor, being the fresh hook, he's going to be playing it safe to not allow a pain risk, but everyone else is going to play as aggressive as possible to get these gens done for these chases.
Yeah, and we're going to be following up with Han Lee now, rotating around the infamous 50 pallet here, but we are going to be winning the 3rd one there. There's going to be another generator in the background procced as well, so this will be the 2nd stage onto Han Lee. All 4 survivors still left in the trial. This is not a Pain Resonance hook, so it will not be regressing anything down. The only Pain Resonance hook left on the map is Zua, but he is nice and healthy and far away from what I could tell. And as we do pop that generator over at 9, we do have something over at topside to be working with. It is 12-2, and I want to say, I couldn't tell off in the distance, but it's somewhere. Yeah, it's just a little 3. Sorry, it was right in front of my face moments ago. But we are going to be getting a Kagune tag onto Zua here. We probably want that extra Pain Resonance, so we're going to be just playing for our fresh hooks here. We are on the trail for outs as we do take the stun. Zua is going to run all the way down into 11, but he's ran into the gens here, so yeah, he's opted to divert and go all the way into the corner. Ray has already covered enough ground to be able to go back on gen patrol without any issues asked. So again, just sitting in the middle of it all, in the midst of it all, and he does have 2 injured survivors on the board, and we have caught out one of our only fresh survivors, not fresh, sorry, uninjured survivors, and that will be Mira injured. So Han Lee, our only survivor left healthy in the trial, he's probably kind of stealthing around or probably going for a reset of some sort. Hurricane in the background resetting, or getting reset rather. That's going to be Zua reset too. So 3 survivors all of a sudden left in the trial healthy. And, you know, as a result of that, obviously there is no gen progression on the map, but I don't think Ray cares too much. He just wants to find that stealth out because, you know, there's not enough pressure to really be worrying about. Maybe over at 3, it's got about 30%. We do see someone hop back on it in the distance and just running up there and trying to catch them off guard, but they've caught onto us and the comms are on point. Actually, no, I was lying. Han Lee just kind of got seen with his pants down there over behind the tires. We do take the Kagune tag onto him. He's going to be hauling us all the way down into Shack, where I don't even know if Shack pallet is still up. I can't remember for the life of me. I'm pretty sure it is, but Ray opting not to chase that over. Shack knows he doesn't have to. He's going to be interrupting main as quickly as he can, and we do. Oh my god! Oh, wow! We caught that at the last second, just before Zua was able to rotate around the corner. My god! So, gonna be kicking this main generator here. Now, again, ping-pong back between the gens, doing what this killer does best, but we do, at some point, need somebody out of the trial, and that will be ideally Han Lee. If we can find Han Lee down him, just put it back to the 3v1. I'm pretty sure that Ray can definitely capitalize on that 4K one, but at the moment, again, still looking like outs here. We are going to be losing that 50 there. That's going to be detrimental. It's going to allow Mio to rotate around once more and potentially win another 50, but he's opted to go all the way down into 3, where we will be going down, and this will be the eruption proc on main and 3. So going to get a little bit sluggy with it though, and leave Mia on the ground because he wants Han Lee. He wants Han Lee gone and done. We do see that is going to be not Han Lee. Yeah, it's Hurricane and Zua in chase at the moment. So not any of the survivors that you want. Out of the 30% chance you had of finding Han Lee, you found who you didn't want to. So Marty, unfortunate stuff, but Ray trying to block the pallet here. That's going to be Zoo. I'm shutting up. I'm shutting up.
But he vaults it. What? What? Hello?
Okay, that's something. No. I've done that before. I've done that. We've all done that before. All right. There will be no judgment here, but we'll be getting a pain resonance to further increase our chances at 4K wanting.
Yeah, we definitely will be getting a pain res kind of gifted to us by Zua. That was a strange interaction. Ray has played out of his mind to get the cutoff. We've then been auto-aimed, giving Zua more chances in the 50s. He's not even played a 50, he's just gifted himself to his friend Ray. Unfortunately, obviously that was a pain res it was able to get. Probably on this gen, they stopped the regression, got it back up to 99%. It could have popped if we had 2 people committing it, but obviously only Mio was on it. He managed to take his distance back to Shaq, and I think Ray now knows there's not much else to worry about except for this gen at 3. If someone rotates it under our noses, it would be quite bad. We see Mio already posturing for it, but has to play safe around Shaq, finally dropping the pallet that nearly cost him the game. He vaults the window. Okay, I thought he was just somehow around the corner and vaults the pallet yet again, but he did not. Back into Shaq, playing it safe once more. Ray will have to leave. He knows that main will eventually get to the same amount of progress as we see at 3. So he's gone on over to interrupt it now. Hurricane taking a Kagune tag. Unfortunately, that just buys him free distance. And main is... Oh, it's about 50%. Okay, I thought it was 0, Hunter. I don't know why, but speaking of things that aren't 0, Jen is still whirring at 3. We're going to start running out of regression shortly if we choose to play like that on the survivors. But in the 4v1, it's not that big of a problem. Ray has once again had Zua vault right into his embrace. He's not going to be able to get the down immediately off of though, but it will force him into 50s on this pallet at 3 tile, and that is him on the ground. A second hook onto Zua in the 4v1. He's going to be able to hook right on top of the gen as well, which is lovely stuff for Ray, but it's all for naught. That is finally that generator probably at Mania indeed popping in the background. So now I guess Project find another first hook survivor and get as many as we can.
He set out to the beginning of the game and is looking up for our survivors, especially if they all nice and split up. We do see Hurricane, which is one of those survivors you're talking about just a couple of seconds ago. He will be going down just all the way as far from the hooks and the gates as possible, but we're going to be slugging on the side of Ray here, trying to intercept that unhook that just happened in front of our face, and we're really trying to find the unhook, not the unhook E, who's ran all the way down into the middle of the map, and this will be Mira in chase again. Another survivor that's probably within his best interest to be securing at this time, and he is going to be winning one window vault by getting caught over at the lip of the wall there. Powering down, he's just had enough of playing around the 50s. He's just said, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to keep walking down, and he does eventually win that. So this will be Miro on the hook. I dare say they'll just be taking outs from here on out. They are going for resets, though. Maybe they're playing for the best possible result. If we can get a quick switch around onto what the survivors are doing, they're going for a triple reset. They're going for the unhook. Okay, so Mission Impossible. No, not Mission Impossible. Mission Save Miro. Seems impossible considering this is a ghoul and is at a gate that has not been opened and probably will not be opened. It is very far from the gate that we need to be traveling to, but Ray is just going to be holding his ground, and this is where you will see the infamous killer on the defensive, survivors on the offensive, and we do see Zua playing very, very aggressive for that gate, which is kind of how you need to be in this particular scenario, because the moment that Ray leaves, they're going to snipe that unhook straight off the rip, and Zua just has to kind of hold M1 on that gate. He is a Death Hook survivor, so he's not worth as many points as if we were to down Hurricane, but he isn't worth as much as if we were to just kill Mio in the process. We do manage to get that tag onto Zua, and like I'd said before, that will be the snipe coming in the background. We are going to be committing the chase onto Zua here, who's got nothing to his avail, only the window and a dream, no pallet in his vicinity, but we have one window vault. We're going to be losing the doorway, unfortunately. Ultimately going down. Going for a little bit of a save here. We do have a flashlight in hand on the side of Hurricane, and we do see Mio with medkit in hand. Not being able to do a whole lot. Not too sure what the plan was there, but we are going to be getting tagged and running all the way down into where the gate was. Maybe not. Maybe trying to bait it out. Ultimately, not even going down because we get a protection hit from Han Lee. Do we get Zua up in the background? We do not. Maybe momentarily, as we have crawled out of Shack. I didn't see him in Shack, but we vaulted back into Shack here on the side of Mio, vaulting back on the outside. Does he make the exit gate? I don't think he does. Not without a body, he don't. And we are really trying to crawl. Zua doing everything he possibly can, going for the pickup. Is Hurricane somewhere? Firecracker inbound! Not happening at all. I said beamer. I don't think he had a beamer. It was definitely just a firecracker, but we do manage to get no, we didn't manage to get Mio up. They are still on the ground, and I think they just got. Oh wait, no, don't. No, there's no way we ever see this in a competitive setting. If we ever see that, my God, I don't know what I'll do. I fear for what I'll do. But we have managed to get it nice and safe. Just you know, planting our face in the corner of that box there, or of the gas canisters, whatever the hell they are. But we're going to be exiting a trial here with 3.